What's up, all my Ewokshables, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as Star Wars Girl, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of Ahsoka Episode 8, the Season 1 finale.
Alright, so the opening scene of the season finale is with Thrawn, Morgan, and the Night Sisters. So, in this scene, Morgan gets turned into a Night Sister with all the magic and the glowing eyes things, and then they give her a flaming green sword. Yay! And Thrawn's like, we're gonna go kill Ahsoka and Sabine. It's like, all right, cut to title sequence. Yay. But guys, before we get into it, my channel is still hardcore shout out here on YouTube. So every single like, share, comment, subscribe really helps out the channel fighting the pesky YouTube algorithm. And for all of those over on Rumble, hello. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. Rumble actually does not censor me over there, which I really appreciate it. So everyone here watching on YouTube, if you guys want to see my uncensored content and you actually want to get notifications when I post a video and when I do live streams, go follow me over on Rumble. The link is down below in the description of this video. But guys, now that that's out of the way, let's get back to the topic. Now, once the title sequence is done, it cuts over to Ahsoka and friends, and it is Ezra in the little lightsaber room building a new lightsaber. Now, I pointed this out on Twitter and everyone got so mad at me. But guys, here's the thing. I'm coming at this with knowledge of the Star Wars universe. Like, I just didn't turn on this show and it's my only knowledge of Star Wars. No, I've been watching the movies, been reading the books, been reading the comics since I was a child. Now, for the lightsabers of the Jedi, it is called a Kyber crystal, and Jedi have to go on this like special little quest to find these crystals. There was an entire book about Ahsoka. It's called Ahsoka. The voice actress of Ahsoka, Ashley Eckstein, narrates this book, and that entire book is about her getting her new white-bladed lightsabers because when she faked her death, she knew that they would not stop looking for her if they didn't find her lightsabers. So she had to abandon her original lightsabers and go and get a new one, and she heals the Kyber crystal from the Sith and turns it white, and that's how she got the white blades. And there's this whole process from which Jedi and Sith have to build their lightsabers, and you have to use the Force to be able to do that. Now, everyone's arguing that David Tennant droid is like, well, it's his ship, and he was the one with the Jedi Order. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't change how Kyber crystals work. That doesn't change the power behind the Kyber crystals. And the fact that anyone with any kind of Force sensitivity, even within this vicinity, this would be like a beacon if it's just a ship that has a bunch of these crystals in their drawer. Like that's not how it works. It's like just because it's in a drawer doesn't mean that the other Jedi can't sense them. They will. And I use this analogy. If you guys ever watched Die Hard 3, when he goes out into Harlem, I'm very nervous about what I'm going to be able to say here. Okay, when Bruce Willis is out in Harlem and he's got the sign on him that says a certain word and everyone in Harlem is looking at him and Samuel L. Jackson's got to come and save him, that's what it would be like flying this ship with a bunch of Kyber crystals in the drawer. Same, maybe this is a little bit of a better analogy, excuse me. When you're swimming in the ocean and you got blood and you're bleeding, right? Every single shark within the vicinity is going to smell that blood in the water, and they are going to come in swarms, and as well as other creatures in the ocean. So it's like going through the galaxy bleeding in shark infested water. That's literally what's going on with their ship. The fact that they have those Kyber crystals just in a drawer, and people are trying to make the argument where David Tennant droid was the one that taught all the younglings. It's like, yeah, so he should know how dangerous it is to be flying around with freaking Kyber crystals. It just doesn't make any sense. But so whatever. Anyways, Ezra builds a new lightsaber and he doesn't use the Force to do it, which that kind of how you have to be able to make it work. That's why other non-Jedi, they can't build lightsabers because they can't use the Force to make it so that way the crystal works with, the mechanisms in it. And so it's like, I was just sitting there and I'm like, it was like driving me crazy. And so during this time, Sabine is standing off there. Apparently, David Tennant just kept this piece that only Kanan used, so he had one spare one left just in case. And so Ezra uses that to build his lightsaber. And then it cuts to Ahsoka and Sabine having girl talk. Yay, it's girl talk time. Now, Something that's funny that I'm going to do a video on in the future is how the woman that created the Bechdel test, if you guys don't know what that is, it's some BS test about how women in a scene that aren't talking about boys and how like to watch movies and see how many times in a film that if the film passes the Bechdel test, which is two women in a scene not talking about boys for X amount of time. That woman has since come out saying that it was a joke, that it wasn't meant to be taken seriously, but all of these feminists jumped on it, latched onto it, and now they're like, ooh, that doesn't pass the Bechdel test. It's like, well, sometimes girls need to be talking about boys. Sometimes that's essential to the story. Like Sarah Connor, I don't know, maybe she might need to talk about boys, you know? Maybe she might need to talk about, I don't know, her son or her baby daddy who is from the future. Maybe it's kind of important that they talk about boys, which they do talk about boys in this, so I don't understand why people are crying. Obviously, it's not love interest unless you're one of those weird shippers, because they talk about Anakin, but it's like, that whole entire thing. So that's going to be a whole separate video, but basically this conversation goes, Ahsoka knows that Sabine willingly gave Baylan the map, which Ahsoka specifically told her not to. She's like, destroy that thing at all costs so that they can't get to Thrawn. That is like the end all be all. What did Sabine do? The exact opposite. She took a gamble so that way she could go with them to go find Ezra, and Ahsoka brings it up and she's like, just cool with it now. She's like, yeah, that was the decision. Your bet paid off, and yeah, it's cool now. And then they start talking about Anakin, which is foreshadowing to what is going to be happening later. And then Sabine says, I'm sorry, and Ahsoka says, I know. And I'm just like, they're just throwing in these lines that used to mean something just so that way people can be like, oh my God, she said that one line. It's not like this is where the fun begins. Like that is one of those lines that anyone in Star Wars can say when they're going to go do something crazy, right? Like Anakin, where he's in the ship and he's like, this is where the fun begins. And it's just, there's times when it's like, okay, that was cool. Like when they were later on in the episode, in a few scenes, they get on the little wolf horse things, and it would have been perfect for Ezra to say, where he's like, this is where the fun begins, like we're gonna go face Thrawn. But no, instead they're like, let's throw in the I love you, I know, except have Sabine say I'm sorry and Ahsoka say I know. I'm like, you don't understand why that line was so important, and why if you just leave it between Han and Leia and contain it that way, it's perfect. But no, they have to go and throw that in here, and it's like, it frustrated me. It really bothered me. But so they have that conversation. They bring up Anakin, and Ahsoka brings up the fact that he always stood by her no matter what. And it's like, except that time when he became Darth Vader and murdered everyone. And then in Rebels, which everyone that wants to critique me, especially on Twitter, they're like, you didn't watch Rebels. And I'm like, the dude that wrote the show apparently didn't even freaking watch it, because Ahsoka's standing here saying, he never turned his back on me. What about when he murdered you? Remember that? It was a season finale of Rebels, and you sacrifice yourself so everyone can get away, and Anakin Vader murders you? It's off camera, but we all know that he freaking does. Anakin as Darth Vader murders Ahsoka. That's when his helmet is all split, and he murders you. That's standing by you. And the only reason you're freaking alive is because Ezra brought you back between worlds, and he cheated time because Dave Filoni is such a freaking hard-on for this character that he created how many freaking years ago, that he just refuses to let her die, even though George Lucas said Ahsoka should have died back in Order 66, just like everyone else, because by having all these survivors just continuously pop up, it takes away from the impact of what Order 66 was. And it's just so freaking frustrating. But I'm sorry I have standards. I'm sorry I would expect the people that wrote the damn cartoon that created this freaking character to remember what they did in the damn cartoon, considering everyone is yelling at me, you didn't watch it. I'm like, the people that are writing this show didn't even watch it, because Ahsoka's own freaking dialogue proves that. It's like, he always stood by me, except for when he killed you. Remember that? Remember when he became a psychopath, a psychotic killer, and he killed everyone, including you? But forget about that. Ahsoka's all about forgiveness and just memory wiping. It's like, oh my God. Then Ezra comes out to interrupt girl talk, and guess what? The two TIE fighters that Thrawn sent out have arrived. And the ship Of course, because shields aren't on because they're protecting the turtle people, the ship gets severely freaking damaged. And I kid you not, Ahsoka and Ezra have to hold the ship up with the Force so it doesn't come crashing down and kill all the turtle people, including them. And then get this, the ship that was like broken 5 seconds ago, Sabine magically hotwires it so that way it can work again. And then instead of shooting the 2 TIE fighters, she crashes into both of them, destroying both TIE fighters and severely damaging their ship, you know, the one that they kind of rely on for everything and they desperately need. I can make all of the jokes about women and specifically Asian women not being able to drive, but then Disney will scream at you, "Oh my God, that's sexist!" And maybe I can make the joke because it's like, I'm a woman, so it's not sexist when I say it. Funny. They literally want to say that they're all these progressive woke things when it's like you literally did the most stereotypical thing ever, an Asian woman that cannot drive. Hilarious, Disney. So then we cut back over to the Chimera with the bad guys. And look at, we got Dad Bod, Elon Musk, Thrawn here. And take in mind, this is what drives me freaking crazy. Thrawn is supposed to be so intelligent and intimidating that he makes everyone around him uncomfortable and their skin crawl because he is so intimidating in that way. And you have this guy that has the most basic bitch plans ever. And he's like, "Oh, so the TIE fighters were lost, but it is an acceptable outcome because the Jedi ship was down, which means we must prepare for a ground assault, you know, make it happen, prepare for it right now." And then he walks off. I'm like, that's not even like mustache twisting bad guy. That's just like a common sense thing. Thrawn has contingency plan after contingency plan, all the way A, B, C, D, all the way past Z. That's how intelligent Thrawn is. It's like playing 40 chess times a billion when it comes to a guy like this. It's like but here's the thing. These characters can only be as smart as the writers, which is why they're all fucking retarded. Then we get back to our heroes with the dog horse-like things riding off into the distance to go fight Thrawn while David Tennant droid stays with the ship. Now, one of the stupid things about this is so Ahsoka gets her own, and then Sabine and Ezra are riding the other one. Now, everyone was laughing at the meme because Sabine is in front of Ezra, and so she's basically being like the guy and he's holding on to her like the girl. And it's like, I was doing the show with Rhino and he made the point of like, out of everyone here, Ezra would have the most experience with these creatures. Also, I like how they just got them out of nowhere. The last shot was them looking out on like the barren wasteland that is this planet. And somehow they just found 2 of these wolf, horse, dog things out of nowhere. Maybe Ezra's the one that knows how to call them. Maybe you can use that excuse as your own little headcanon thing. But again, Ezra would have the most experience with these animals because he's been on this planet for 10 freaking years. So why is in the sense of it, why is Sabine controlling the animal instead of Ezra? Why? You know, Ezra that kind of has like bonds with animals and stuff. Doesn't make any sense. All it seems is, you know, the way that Disney likes to do things is like, oh, we can't have any men be in positions of power that aren't bad guys. So let's demasculate or emasculate every single man on screen like they're doing with Ezra. Disney for you. Ugh, guys, we're almost halfway through. So the next scene is the bad guys that are prepping for the heroes to arrive. And in this scene, Morgan, not Thrawn, Morgan is addressing all the troops because basically Thrawn and everyone are getting on the Chimera about to go into the ring thingy to jump over to the next galaxy. And so Morgan is addressing the troops that are going to stay behind to get rid of Ahsoka. And then Thrawn lets her know like, yo, chick, you're staying behind too. And she's like, I understand, Thrawn. And then we have the epic, the bad guys with their ship castle off in the distance and the heroes on the mountain looking off at this imposing scene. And I get it. I get the aesthetic, the idea behind it. But here's the thing. This is stupid. You're dealing with spaceships. Keyword there. Spaceships. I get it. The Chimera has had to stay in the atmosphere because of, I don't know, whatever threats are on the outside in the space in the asteroid field. Still doesn't make very much sense, but Thrawn wants to stay close to the Night Sister, the Night Mother castle thing in the mountain. But there's no reason they should be docking their ship in the atmosphere. That should all take place up in outer space. It shouldn't be in the freaking atmosphere. That is so freaking stupid, especially from somebody like Thrawn. Thrawn should know, oh, these people are coming. They're going to try to get on our ship and he doesn't want them there. So the smart idea would be, instead of having the freaking eye come down into the atmosphere, they should be going up into space and docking with it there, so that way the people he does not want to get to them can't get to him. It's so stupid. The fact that they're doing this all here in the atmosphere, one, shows how incompetent Thrawn is. Two, shows that the writers don't know how any of these ships work in the own freaking Star Wars universe. And three, it's like, oh my God, like it drives me crazy on so many different levels because it's so stupid. And we cut, for whatever reason, to David Tennant on the ship with the turtle people. It's like, you do realize that if you guys would have just left the turtle people alone, none of their ships would have gotten destroyed by the freaking TIE fighters. But whatever reason, David Tennant is on the ship getting help from the turtle people to fix the ship, so that way, oh my gosh, is he gonna get it fixed in time to help the heroes at the end? I wonder. With Disney plot armor, that totally couldn't happen, right? Like, look, this is so freaking stupid. Thrawn is, instead of being on his ship, the Chimera, Thrawn is standing there in the Night Sister castle, staring at a hologram of his ship docking with the eye. Instead of just getting on his ship, getting up into the atmosphere, and doing all of that in space, since Ahsoka is basically at the front freaking door about to barge in and fuck shit up. It's so dumb. This is such a waste of time. They're trying to create tension. I'm like, the tension would be trying to get on the ship before it gets into outer space, or trying, I don't know, to get from the planet to outer space. That could be interesting, but then that would destroy their entire plot. Using any kind of logic, any type of intelligence, that destroys this entire plot of this episode, which is like, oh, that's funny. You're supposed to have one of the most intelligent characters in the entire Star Wars universe be their foe, but instead he's an idiot. Yay. So the next scene is the high tension, high stakes scene, because it's Ahsoka, it's Ezra, it's Sabine on the wolf horses running to the door that's closing. They had all freaking day to close this freaking door. For whatever reason, this door was wide open all day when Thrawn knows that they're coming, has been supposedly anticipating this for some freaking reason. The door is open and they're just now closing it when they see that they're approaching. And so the Chimera that's still above them is shooting down the little things at them, and they're dodging, and get this. They all use the Force to keep the door open long enough for them to get in. Ahsoka, yeah, she's got the Force. She's pretty strong in it. Ezra, yeah, he was trained a little bit in it. And he's been training ever since. Ezra can use the Force. Sabine just randomly decided she can use the Force now. Or the writers, excuse me. They just decided she can randomly use the Force. All of a sudden now it's like, oh, I believe in you, so that means you're powerful in the Force. It's like, oh my God. And so all of them, they all use the Force together to hold the door open and to get inside. The door that should have been closed forever ago. But convenient, Thrawn he's like, no, just leave it open until we can see them and then start closing it. It's like, oh my God. And of course, Thrawn is pissed because they get in. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. When you leave the doors open all freaking day, you don't have any kind of shields. You don't have any kind of blast doors. You just have two doors that can be pushed by Force users wide open. If you were that worried about them getting in, I don't know, why didn't you put something in front of the doors? Why didn't you lock the doors? Why? I don't know, this crazy idea. Why didn't you close the fucking doors the day before, the night before, the hour before? No, all of a sudden you see that they're coming up to the castle and that's when you close the doors? But again, guys, Thrawn can only be as smart as the people riding him, which is why he's fucking stupid. And then we have the, yes, it's all three of them with lightsabers together scene. Yay! So, of course, the stormtroopers are all attacking, and they're using their lightsabers to block everything. And I swear, at first I was like, is this in slow motion? Like, what, are they trying to do some kind of effect? Because Rosario Dawson is literally going like this. It's like she's doing the robot with it. And I'm like, she should be going a lot faster. It should be like the freaking Matrix, right? Not when the Matrix is slowed down, but like, remember when Neo all of a sudden he realizes he's the one, and he's like, that's what it should be like. But no, it's like, don't got no Mr. Roboto, like that. And I'm like, what the hell am I watching? And so then she's like, Sabine, use your blasters. And so Sabine puts away the lightsaber and starts using the blaster and gets behind Ezra. And they take them all out. And it's like, okay, yay, cool. And that's when the twist, the plot twist, that the Thrawn's big plan, his evil mustache twisting plan, that's when the plot twist is revealed. The Night Mothers start doing their magic to create zombies. That's right, guys. There are zombie stormtroopers in Star Wars now. Yeah. Totally cool, right? That's totally what everybody wanted. They wanted zombie stormtroopers. But whatever. So then we go up to the boss fight. For those that don't know, the way that Dave Filoni writes episodes, it's like a very bad video game. It'll be like, oh, here's a cutscene, here's a little mission, here's the side quest, and then it leads up to the boss fight. And so this is a 2-part boss fight before the main boss fight. So Ahsoka's got to fight Morgan, and this is like, it's so bad. There's people on Twitter going, this is the best lightsaber duel ever! And I'm like, have you never seen a lightsaber duel? Are you like, what is going on? They're like, because it's still women fighting with the Force. And I was like, didn't you guys just like cry about that with Shin and Sabine, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes ago? But now they're like, this is the first fight between Ahsoka and Morgan. I'm like, no, they fought back in Mando. Like, what are you guys not watching these fucking shows? Like, all of it, this is the firstest one ever, and they're like, this is the best fight ever, yay! And I'm like, no, it's like geriatrics fighting. They're terrible. Christopher Lee, when he was fighting Master freaking Yoda in Attack of the Clones, was faster than this. It's like slow-mo old ladies in, like, menopausal old ladies fighting with a sword and lightsabers, and I swear they both should have killed each other so many freaking times. So many times. Ahsoka's got 2 lightsabers. She magically forgets, oh, let me fight with this one. Let me do this spin and not be blocking my back with this one. Morgan could have stabbed Ahsoka in the back so many freaking times. They could have both disarmed each other, wounded each other, or killed each other. So many fights in this long, drawn-out duel, because during, basically until the end of the episode, Ahsoka is fighting this chick. And it's like, every time they cut to it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cringe. Like, they couldn't have sped it up at all? No, because they have to have everything timed right. So they have to make sure that it's dragged on. These women move as slow as humanly possible. And honestly, it's embarrassing. Like, it's really embarrassing. And I'm just like, oof. This is like, Darth Vader, when he was moving around slowly, it's because he was fucking with people, right? Like when Darth Vader and Luke face off in Return of the Jedi, or even in Empire Strikes Back, it's because Darth Vader has an ace up his sleeve. Darth Vader actually doesn't want to kill Luke. Darth Vader is fucking with Luke. Right? That's why Darth Vader is not moving as fast as we know he can. When the Emperor and Yoda are fighting in Revenge of the Sith, it's not just a fight, let's see how fast we can take each other out. It's a battle of freaking wills. It's the Emperor trying to get like, oh, I'm an evil bad guy and I'm trying to, prove my power and my strength, and he's trying to fuck with Yoda, and Yoda is trying to get as much information out of him as possible before Yoda has got to get out of there. Right? So it's like, wow, it's when, more intelligent people write things that things can come out pretty decent. This is nothing. It's not, let me get in. Ahsoka's not trying to get information out of Morgan. She's trying to, beat Morgan. Morgan's not trying to get information out of Ahsoka. She is trying to kill Ahsoka, supposedly, even though she could have done it. She doesn't do it, but she's supposedly trying to do it. It's like do or do not, there is no try. She doesn't do it. Spoiler alert. She's not trying to get information out of Ahsoka. She's not trying to fuck with Ahsoka in any way. It's just incompetent and it's bad. It's not enjoyable to watch. If personally, I was embarrassed to watch it. It was so cringy and it wasn't even cool. There wasn't anything aesthetically pleasing about it. It's two older ladies doing an action scene very badly, mind you. You can have an older woman be badass in an action movie. Look at Sigourney Weaver. Look at Sarah freaking Connor. Heck, even in the Halloween movies with what's-her-face, Curtis coming back. That's better than this. It was so cringe. So then we have the boss fight part 2 with Sabine and Ezra. Now, if you guys can see behind the two stormtroopers, which by the way are zombie stormtroopers. We never see these two die, but they are zombie stormtroopers. But so right behind them is the Chimera. Now notice how they don't have their energy shields up. They don't have the blast doors shut. The door is wide open. If they wanted to, they could just run past these guys and get onto Thrawn's ship. That's how stupid it is. Okay, now I gotta show you this because this was the moment in the episode where I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So here's the zombie stormtrooper. Sabine lost her lightsaber. I don't know where the freak her blaster is. I don't know, could be in her side belt, I'm not sure. But Ezra is off fighting the other zombie, and he's disarmed. Sabine is disarmed. Now, you would think these zombies want to kill them, right? Like, that's their whole mission, that's their whole goal, that's everything that drives them. There are zombies going, rah! And so, this zombie has Sabine unarmed, up against this rock. Her legs are dangling in the air. The only thing that she can use against him is her own physical strength to hold off the zombie. He's choking her. She's using one hand, which you guys can even see here on the screen. She's not putting any kind of force in that. She's just holding it. And then she's reaching out. This is her arm across the screen. She's reaching out with her other arm, using the force to try to pull her lightsaber to her so she can kill this guy. And I'm like, wait a second. You want me to believe this zombie is trying to actually kill her? It would have already killed her already. She's unarmed. It's got her by the freaking throat. That thing would either crush her. She's not even putting up a fight. She's not. That hand, there is no tension. There is nothing going. Like, you would see it like straining. If somebody was trying, like, choking you and you're like this, like, she's not even choking. That's another thing. The actress, she's just like, ugh, like she's constipated trying to pull the lightsaber to her. But no, it's nothing. I'm like, there's no stakes here. There's nothing. She's not even using her legs to try to kick him. They're just dangling in the air. Nothing. There is no reason this zombie shouldn't have pulled her towards him and like bit her freaking face off or like broken her neck or anything. But remember, she's a whammon in Disney Star Wars, so she's got all the plot armor. So what does she do? Of course, magically, she's super awesome in the Force now. She pulls the lightsaber and kills the zombie. So then we have the scene that right when you think it can't get stupider, it does. So there you guys see the little tiny people standing on the little edge. That's Ezra and Sabine. And then the ship is obviously Thrawn's ship. Once again, the doors aren't shut. The force fields, or the force shields aren't on. Anyone can just walk right onto the ship, or in this case, jump, because that's exactly what they're going to do. Obviously, you see this distance. That's a pretty long jump. Instead of, I don't know, jumping off to the side and scaling your way up over, Ezra and Sabine, they have this great idea. Well, Sabine's idea, take that in mind. Where Ezra's like, I can't make that jump. And Sabine's like, no, what's going to happen is you're going to jump. I will push you. Remember, this is a chick that just in this episode really all of a sudden just got great at the Force. Like, yes, Queen, slay. Not really any training. They're like, well, she trained off screen with Ahsoka all of those years ago. And I'm like, this isn't like that. That's not how it works. It's like, you don't go like, oh yeah, I used to lift a decade ago. I used to lift them weights a decade ago. Then all of a sudden going and deadlifting 300 freaking pounds, which is what they're implying Sabine is basically doing. It's like, oh my God. So Ezra is going to force jump and just trust Sabine to be able to push him all the way onto the ship. And that's what happens. And again, Thrawn, he knows that they're coming, doesn't have the door shut. So again, Ezra just walks right in. Isn't that great? And then as this is all going on, Ahsoka is still doing her boss fight with Morgan, and all the zombies come up. So all the ones that they killed in the very beginning, they all caught up to him. So Ahsoka is fighting Morgan and the zombies, and they make their way up the stairs to the top of this platform. Now Ezra gets on the ship, and Sabine is looking at Ezra and looking at Ahsoka, and guess who she chooses to go with? If you chose Ahsoka, you were right. All this entire episode was her, or this entire show has been her trying to get to Ezra. And at the last minute, Ezra's back with Thrawn, kind of right where he started. He's on Thrawn's ship. She's like, deuces, I'm going to go help Ahsoka, which in this case, I will say, was the more honorable thing to do. Ezra's safe, quote unquote, and Ahsoka is basically with all of these zombie stormtroopers, which we have seen are not an issue, but she's fighting Morgan. So she goes and fights Ahsoka, and I had to stop it on the screenshot because holy shit, look at Ahsoka's face. That's going to be the thumbnail photo because it is hilarious. And then, spoiler alert, Ahsoka kills Morgan. If you guys didn't see that coming in, her and Sabine destroy pretty much all of the zombie stormtroopers. And this is how Ahsoka kills Morgan. With the teeniest tiny little cut across her abdomen, which barely even went through her clothes. Sabine got stabbed through her freaking abdomen and survived. Morgan, teeny little cut across her waist. Teeny little cut. Barely singed her clothes. And she dies. But Sabine, right through here and up and out the back, fine. She's fine. She made a full recovery. Morgan, teeny tiny little cut. She dead. That's Disney Star Wars for ya. And just when you think it can't get any dumber, it does. So, Sabine and Ahsoka are fighting off the rest of the zombies. Ezra's watching them. Thrawn is watching them. And Thrawn's like, deuces. Their ship takes off. And then who's right there to save the day? If you guessed David Tennant Droid, you're right. Because miraculously, they fixed the ship. The one that earlier crashed into 2 TIE fighters. So both of the wings of it are damaged. Somehow, the turtle people and David Tennant were able to repair the ship. It's like, oh, you know how there's kind of those things that protect everyone from, I don't know, the complete vacuum of space? Somehow they were able to just completely repair it. It's fine. It's going to be fine. So David Tennant's right there. They jump off. They land on the ship. They get in the ship. And then they start chasing Thrawn ship into space. Now, of course, because the ship was pretty much crippled, they don't make it in time. Thrawn says, they have a little back and forth, him and Ahsoka sitting there looking all pissed, and he's like, oh yeah, it's regrettable that we can't meet face to face. Long live the Empire. And then takes off, and it's like, oh my God, Thrawn is so dumb. Thrawn would have not left these loose strings there. Thrawn would have because Thrawn knows if they could get there, they're going to be able to get back. Thrawn would either one, kill them and shoot their ship and destroy it, considering I'm pretty sure they don't have any shields at this point, since they're barely pedaling on by. Thrawn obviously is very weary of the Jedi. He knows Anakin was her master. He says over and over again he's not going to negotiate with the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, so he probably should freaking kill her, or, I don't know, take her prisoner? That might be a smart move to make, considering he's going into the New Republic area. He's going to try to revive the Empire and take back, the Empire pretty much, and overthrow the New Republic and basically come in and run the show. And if you have ever read the EU or ever played any of the games or know anything about Thrawn, you know what his real mission is with the Chiss, and the entire goal and all of that was in him going and infiltrating this and getting an ally, which was the Empire. But so yeah, none of that matters because again, you can only be as smart as the people writing it, and Dave Filoni's a fucking idiot. So, Thrawn doesn't do either of these things. He leaves her and Sabine alive at the planet that he knows that the space whales can come to, and they can easily get on the space wheel and make it back. It's so stupid. And somehow Ahsoka and Sabine are in his freaking trail, and they don't get destroyed by him jumping to hyperspace. It's so stupid.
So then we cut back to the planet where Ahsoka and Sabine have gone back to with David Tennant there with the turtle people, and they're gonna ride off into the sunset all happy dandy, and they're like, oh, there's something here on the planet. Da 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 da.
And Ahsoka sees the owl. Now, for those that didn't watch the Clone Wars, which, guys, everyone bitching on Twitter, all of the sudden out of nowhere, all of these Clone Wars and Rebels experts came out because they used this little tool called Google. They didn't watch, so because, again, I'm a Star Wars fan. I've been around for a long time, and nobody ever knows anything about the freaking Clone Wars. Very select few. But now all of a sudden, every single person on Twitter is a fucking expert on the Clone Wars and on Rebels. Again, it's because they learned how to use Google. So for those that don't know, the reason why Ahsoka has this bond and this, she's kind of followed by an owl is because there is this 3-part episode in the Clone Wars Season 3 where they go to this planet called Mortis and they meet these 3 iconic supernatural beings, which people say are gods. That can be debated, but so there's the father, the son, and the sister. The sister dies, and Ahsoka dies too. Her essence is put into Ahsoka, and so whenever Ahsoka sees the owl, it's like a representation of the presence of the sister with her. Now, this is foreshadowing to something you're going to see in like 2 minutes, which is something they've been hinting at this entire show, but I will get there. Now, if you guys were wondering where Shin was this entire episode, well, apparently she decided to just take off and go find all of those bandits, and I guess she's gonna go team up with them. And then we cut to this shot, which is totally not completely lifted from Lord of the Rings, and all the people on Twitter that are like, oh my god, there's been statues carved into the mountains from the beginning of time, and it's like, bitch, how do you not fucking see that they copied Peter Jackson's homework? This is 100% lifted from Lord of the freaking Rings. You could have done any other shot angle from it, but no, it's like you gotta copy Lord of the freaking Rings. So remember how I said earlier, the father, the son, and the daughter? Well, guess what? There's the father, straight and center, pointing off at something that we're going to show in a second. We have the son to his side, and then the other one, the mountain that's like missing the head, that's the daughter, and she died, so maybe that's symbolic of that. And then you see the little thing up there, which could be his finger. That's Ray Stevenson, and this was apparently because Ray Stevenson, the actor, passed away. This is what everyone's saying is like his final shot, and I'm like, well, I feel like there's probably going to be footage, so we might see like something. Because he's going off to the temple of the Father, the Daughter, and the Son. And you guys can see it off in the distance here up on the screen, which again is also lifted straight from, you guessed it, Lord of the Rings. And once again, I did tweet about this, showing the comparison, and people lost their minds, so I even had to show them the follow-up, where it's like, hey, can I copy your homework? Just change it a bit so it doesn't look like you copied it. This is what Disney does. This is what Disney Star Wars does. It's like they copy somebody else's homework. That's what that is. So frustrating because it's like, guys, have some fucking dignity. Do something original. But no, it's Dave Filoni, Disney, Star Wars. They can't do any of that. And so anyways, we cut over to Thrawn, who made it back to the Star Wars galaxy and is now over Dathomir. And guess what? He's got all this cargo that he took forever loading on the ship. Like, what, 2 or 3 episodes loading on the ship? And guess what? It's all caskets because how much you would have bet? It's all fucking zombies. It's all the dead, which we all saw. If you guys played Jedi Fallen Order, that's what was in Jedi Fallen Order. Merrin, when you go to the level on Dathomir from the Star Wars video game, she brings back all of her dead Night Sister sisters, and they're all zombies. And so that's what they're doing. Remember video game? Fun. And it's so dumb because for Dad Bod Thrawn, Elon Musk Thrawn, for his plan to work, it is completely reliant on the 3 Night Sister mothers for them to do their magic to reanimate and to create all of these zombies. If anything happens to any of them, his plan is over. He's done. If they decide to turn against him, it's over. He's done. You know, if you're completely relying on their magic and for them to help you, they are the most now important members on your freaking crew, which makes them the number one targets to your enemies. It's so stupid. It's so unlike Thrawn. But hey, again, it's Disney Star Wars. It can only be as smart as the writers, who are retarded. And then we cut over to Hera and the New Republic, and guess who made it all the way to them? It's Ezra, and Hera's about to cry with their terrible makeup and terrible contacts. And it's like, oh, Ezra was just on Thrawn's Star Destroyer, and he just stole a ship and took off. Thrawn wasn't like, I wonder where my ship is going. There was no kind of shields. He didn't need permission to undock or to leave. He just literally stole a fucking ship off of Thrawn's Star Destroyer, took off, wasn't followed, wasn't shot at, wasn't chased. He just swiped a ship off of Thrawn's ship, said deuces, and made his way all the way to the New Republic where Hera was. Again, they made Thrawn a fucking incompetent moron.
And so, guys, after that, the episode ends with Ahsoka and Sabine and the turtle people under the stars in the firelight having this little conversation, looking up into space. And then as the camera zooms out, we see Anakin Skywalker is a Force ghost! Yay, I get it. It's exciting to see Hayden back as Anakin, especially since he, loves playing Anakin and he's still, able to do it. And so, yes, it's cool that he's getting that opportunity to play this character that he loves and that he's been playing for the past 20 years. So it's like, that's nice that they're giving him these opportunities and stuff. But it's like, they're not doing it to be genuine. They're doing it to get people to watch it, right? They are going to milk this character for all that it's worth. And it's like, that's cool that he's hanging out in Mortis, talking, looking over Ahsoka. When it's, I don't know, what about his son? What about his daughter? Remember his kid that he sacrificed himself to save? That was with his dying breath. He said, he wanted Luke to take his mask off so he could look into his eyes. Yeah, what about him? Well, what's Luke doing? I don't know, trying to rebuild a Jedi Order and everything that he kind of destroyed? Why isn't he off, I don't know, helping his fucking son? Why is he with Ahsoka? Why isn't he with his daughter who's trying to rebuild the freaking Republic that he helped destroy? What a great fucking father Anakin is, right? And I saw somebody say, Anakin never cared about his children. It's like, are you fucking retarded? Anakin turned to the dark side to save his wife and to save his kids. Once he found out that Luke was alive and that Luke was his son, he's like, join me and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son. All Anakin cares about are his children and his family. So it's kind of fucking weird that when his children are out there and could use his guidance and his help, his daughter, who he, has kind of a terrible relationship with that he probably should want to, kind of mend and say, yo, I'm sorry for torturing you. I'm sorry for blowing up your family in front of you. Maybe, now that I'm a ghost and I'm able to come back and communicate, maybe we should have a little discussion. I don't know. But no, instead of doing that with his fucking children, he's off in another galaxy staring at Ahsoka. It's fucking weird. Again, it's Dave Filoni's weird fucking boner for Ahsoka that he's got to make the entire fucking universe and galaxy revolve around her. It's stupid. It's disrespectful. It's not fucking Star Wars. Now, let me just explain. I'm going to go way more in depth in this when I do the entire series overview and review of the entire series as a whole. I'll get a lot more in depth into this. But basically, the reason, the explanation that they're going to give as to why Anakin is there instead of being, Anakin fucking Skywalker and being with his fucking children, the things that he actually fucking cares about. Not to say he doesn't care about Ahsoka, but in this case, he would be with Luke or with Leia, not with Ahsoka in another galaxy when his children obviously need him. So what they're doing is they're doing the Mortis arc, or getting back to the Mortis arc. So for those that missed the 3-part episode in the Clone Wars, it's the Clone Wars Season 3, I think episodes 16, 17, and 18. I could be off on that. It's been
over a decade. But basically what it is that there's the father, the son, and the daughter. The son is the dark side, the daughter is the light side, and the father is the one that controls them. And he talks to Anakin about how Anakin is the chosen one because Anakin was the only one that was able to basically beat both the son and the daughter. And because he was testing Anakin, and he told Anakin he had to remain there because he's got to bring balance to the Force. He's the chosen one, right? And so now that everyone is dead, Anakin is there, and now that Anakin is, back as a Force ghost, he's not doing anything else. Now it's the time for him to go and fulfill his place as being the father, right? And so Anakin is on Mortis conveniently. Who else is on Mortis? Ahsoka. Who does Ahsoka have a bond with? The daughter, because when the daughter died, her essence, the father put the daughter's essence into Ahsoka. That's why Ahsoka is followed by the owl. So Ahsoka is going to take the place of the daughter. Now, this is just a screenshot I got off the internet that people have been trying to go because they're saying that, what's his face? Star Killer from the Force Unleashed video games is going to be the son. I thought it was going to be Ray Stevenson taking that character, or Balin, I should say. But since Ray Stevenson passed away, obviously they're not going to be able to do that. So my new theory for it is that it is going to be Shin. And they're going to change it because Anakin's a man, and you can't have a man be anything important in Disney Star Wars. They're going to change it so that way Ahsoka is the father or the mother, and Sabine will be the sister, and Shin will be the brother, or the other sister, the dark side. I bet you that's what's going to be season 2, since all of season 1 was hinting at the Mortisar. And that's the episode. Wasn't that fun? Isn't it great watching everything that you love get destroyed? Everything that even if you don't know it, any kind of logic, any kind of intelligence is thrown. Throw caution to the wind and just say, fuck it, let's do the stupidest shit over and over again. And hopefully they like it because there's lightsabers and now there's zombies. And oh my God, remember Hayden Christensen? Yeah, he's back. Yay! Fuck off, Dave Filoni. Fuck off with something hard and sand fucking papery. That was such fucking bullshit. And 8 episodes? Are you kidding me? Everything that we saw? Hey, guess what? Remember how the Clone Wars, I just said it was a 3-episode arc? That's all you fucking needed. There was so much wasted time. With $15 million per episode? What the fuck are you guys spending money on? The Joker was made in a fraction of the budget, and it won a fucking Oscar. You could do so much with less. Less is more in this case, and it's like, oh my God. They have to be laundering money at this point because there is no way that's costing $15 million per episode. Are you fucking kidding me? What a monumental waste of time, energy, and resources. With everything that they have at their disposal, it should be the best show I've ever seen in my entire life, but it's not. It's one of the worst shows I've seen in my entire life. All of these characters, what a waste. The universe, what a waste. Call up Timothy Zahn, the guy who, I don't know, fucking created Thrawn, and say, Timothy, hey, do you want to write the show from this character that you kind of created? Oh, I don't know. You're not doing anything except for, rewriting your novels to make them fit into the stupid Disney lore, which we're going to retcon anyway. Why don't you just come in and write something good for us to begin with, since we know you're fucking capable of it? But no, Dave Filoni's like, let me get my little cowboy hat, even though I've never done anything to be a cowboy, and let me just sit here and tell you why Ahsoka is the bestest ever, and then let me also take credit for all of these things, since Katie Lucas isn't here to, call me out when I am bullshitting and I'm actually, stealing stuff from other people and, other universes and other creators. Katie Lucas isn't here to call me out on that anymore. So I'm just going to sit here and say, yeah, guys, it's Ahsoka. Don't you just love it? Fuck off. Just fuck off. That was such bullshit. I hate it. But anyways, guys, Let me know what you thought about this review. Did you guys like my review? What did you guys think of the episode? Was there anything that I missed? Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me? You're like, no, Anna, you're stupid. This was the bestest ever. Ooh, please explain to me why. Because, hun, ooh, that's going to be a tough argument for you. And if you guys liked this review, let me know. Smash that like button. Helps me out a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you guys haven't yet, maybe take a minute and smash that subscribe button. Ring that bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all. That way you actually get notifications when I post videos and live streams. Obviously, by the way that I do these things and the way that I speak out against their narrative, YouTube doesn't like me very much, so I appreciate everyone that takes the time to subscribe. Again, to everyone on Rumble, hello. I love all of you wonderful, wonderful people. And again, consider following me on Rumble. Link down below in the description. And until next time, everyone, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for supporting my channel and my content. If you guys would like to support me further, I don't have a Patreon or anything like that. But what I do have is an Indiegogo campaign that's live right now. I sell books, calendars, and posters. You guys can go check it out, see if there's anything on there that you fancy. I do this pretty much every single year now, and this is my third calendar, and everyone that has come out to support me, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. You make content like this possible considering how much YouTube hates me. So if this is something you guys are interested in, go ahead and check out the link down below in the description. And once again, everyone, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.